Hi Stampers, I'm excited to share a project with you. This one features the fabulous Abstract Impressions stamp set from the annual catalog. And if you haven't gotten your order in yet for the end of the retiring list, don't worry, this one's continuing, so you have a little time on it. But don't wait, because you are going to want to get the Designer Series paper that goes with this. All kinds of fun patterns that coordinate with the stamps, and they're just gorgeous colors. So let me give you some tips for making this. Grab your Stamps and Mail Club packet, and the first thing you'll notice is that the card stock is actually cut partially across the front. And so I scored this regular card in half, and then I cut with my trimmer up 2 1/4 inches from the bottom, which means that a 2 by 4 inch piece of Designer Series paper is going to fit perfectly on here. So what I want to do now is go ahead and eliminate this extra piece. And this is a card layout that I really like. In fact, if you look at my blog, I have a whole bunch of different versions of it that I've done over the last year or two. And so this one's just a little bit different, because usually I take this scrap here and make it the panel in the front, but in this case I have slightly different size panel. So all right, so let's see. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and, isn't this designer paper gorgeous? Place this over here, and this paper is available while supplies last through June 3rd, but don't wait too long, because who knows how quickly things are going to disappear with the retiring list. And then the next thing I'm going to do is grab my ink pads, and I have Calypso Coral, Soft Seafoam, and Spruce, shaded spruce here. And because I'm using photopolymer stamps, I'm going to go ahead and stamp here on my mat. And if you want to try and keep ink off of your paper piercing mat, the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and pop this up underneath. So I've just placed it underneath here. So it's still here, don't forget. But I'm going to have that kind of out of the way. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Calypso Coral, and I'm going to stamp a couple of these roses. This is the biggest of the 3 images, and if you're working to line these up, I usually look, there's one like little tab kind of at the top of each one. So see this one little tab at the top here, and then this one has one little tab at the top here, and this one has one little tab at the top here. What I usually do is I just line up those little tabs, and I like the way they come out. So, all right, so I'm going to stamp off once for that, and I'm going to put a flower here, and put a flower here. You actually probably don't even need to stamp off if you don't want to do this, because the stamps are, they have texturing that sort of grades the color. So the next one is this middle stamp, so the middle size, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp full strength on here, okay, with my Calypso Coral ink pad. And see how we have one ink pad but 2 different colors? They're really, the stamps are really cool. And then last, I'm going to take my top stamp. Oh, maybe this was the middle stamp. I think this is the middle stamp, but really it doesn't matter what order you do it in. As long as you get all 3 of them on there, you get kind of that like fuzzy rose kind of technique. And then I'm going to go back with my Soft Seafoam and add some leaves. And I have 2 stamps for that. This is the leaf stamp. And when you first get this set, honestly, it takes a little time to kind of run through it and figure out which things go where, what the pieces are. But I'm going to go ahead and add some of those. And then for the accent piece, I'm going to grab this soft spruce or shaded spruce ink pad and go ahead and accent some of those leaves. Okay. And really, they're pretty forgiving. It doesn't matter too much where you get them. Let's see. We'll add one more in this space down here. You just kind of fill in some spaces. Okay, so this gives us our front panel, and this piece, in case you needed to know, is 2 3/8 by 3 3/4, and so then that's just going to layer onto a piece of Soft Seafoam, which brings out those colors. Isn't it amazing to look at this and then see how that just jumps once you get that coordinating cardstock color underneath? So I'm going to take this and add my layer of shaded spruce underneath it. Okay, and go ahead and squish from the back side always. And then remember, for this card, you're going to kind of have a fair amount of wear and tear. People are going to want to turn this panel. So instead of just using regular snail adhesive, I really like to use tear tape for this. And you want to make sure, yeah, get the right side here. You want to make sure that you get your tear tape down where it is going to stick to your card, because you don't actually want to seal your card closed. My tip for tear tape is always the harder you push it down, the easier it is to get the backing off. Okay, because you know that adhesive is really stuck nicely. And then I'm going to place this panel here. Okay, we have a strip of the petal pink cardstock, and I'm going to grab this swirl here. I guess it's a straight line swirl, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp off, and then go ahead and stamp that on my project. And then the thank you words are also included here, and they are a perfect match for each other. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim this down. Sometimes for my kits or when I'm making cards, I like to make the cardstock just a little bit bigger so that you have some little wiggle room if you need to see where you're stamping. Okay, so we have our thank you banner, and this is going to go on here. And I'm going to pop this on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Put those on the back. And then we have a couple embellishments to add here. One of them is this fun ribbon, and this is from one of the ribbon pairs that's retiring. So make sure you grab this one before it is gone. I'm just going to tie a cute little bow here. Okay, and then this is going to get stuck on with mini glue dot, or glue dot, I guess. And we'll pop that here on the back and pop that down. And then the last thing to put on our card front here will be, we'll get our bow there, a little butterfly. So I have a little bit of paper here, and I'm going to use my Calypso Coral again. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it off once, and then I'm going to take my Calypso Coral again, and I'm going to stamp my butterfly outline full strength on top, and then finally add the little body. So there is our little butterfly. And then you want to take this and fussy cut it, and you can be as quick or as loose as you want with this. And then this is going to go on our card with a Stampin' Dimensional. So we'll pop that on the back. And this is going to go right up here at the corner of our panel. Now make sure you don't accidentally stick it partially here so that you're sealing your card shut. Okay, then the last thing this card needs is some decoration on the inside. Well, actually it needs a little haircut here. These ribbons are a little long. So we'll trim those off. And then on the inside, I'm going to take the same stamp that I just used and give it a quick clean here on my Stampin' Chamois. And then I'm going to use the soft seafoam, and I'm just going to put a whole bunch of these on the background of our card here. And this is really just to give it some extra texture and interest, and then when you close it, you can also see some of those little interest points. And then for the inside of our card, I'm going to stamp some little flowers on the corner, and those flowers are these guys here. So let me get those mounted on a block. And like I said, you can do a lot of mixing and matching with the stamp set. So actually this time I'm going to use this as my leaf here instead of as part of the butterfly, and these two things go together really nicely. So let me snag those. I'm going to go ahead and put Calypso Coral on for flowers. I usually do the big flower first, so I'm going to stamp off, and we'll do a couple of these down here at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to use my flower definition and do that one full strength over the top. And then, like I said, I'm going to use those again. So soft seafoam to add some little leaves, and honestly, you can use these a lot of different directions. They're pretty fabulously designed for flexibility. And then I'm going to add the little close-up detail parts in shaded spruce. So we have our quick and easy pattern there. And then lastly, this is going to go on the middle of our card here. And there we have it. So now you have your easy thank you card with this fun gatefold. Really simple to put together and a great way to use strips of designer series paper for your projects. So if you haven't requested your Stamps the Mail Club kit for this month, I have some remaining. And if you haven't seen my news update about the next couple of months, I'm taking a hiatus from Stamps in the Mail Club, and you're really going to want to get in on the free online stamping class that I'm offering. So be sure to subscribe to Love and Stamps at my blog for details, and be sure to sign up for my email newsletter so that you'll be updated as soon as I announce those online stamping class details. So Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more projects with you again soon. Happy stamping!